Hello there, internet family, people of the internets. Nice little case here. You recognize that logo? Let's pop this open, shall we? That's the Damn Designs logo. Double D's, 2 D's for double dose of that pimpin'. What's that movie from? I think I've asked you guys what that movie's from. Upgrade. Oh, Upgrade gonna find a way to get his money. Ooh, in a Carver's Customs pouch. I should say it doesn't come with a Carver's Customs pouch. I just had it in the pouch because it doesn't flop around quite as much in the case. But I wanted to show you the case because it's a nice little case. Anywho, let's pop this open and then actually, let's just get right under the hood here real quick, because I realized I wanted to really wipe off the fingerprints and I had not done that. So we're just gonna bump the camera. Let's put that back because I had the edge of the bench there lined up with the frame, so it was nice and parallel to the frame. It's off just a little bit. Go back that way. Yep. Attention to detail, y'all. Speaking of which, that might segue in nicely to what one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about. So this is the Shogun spinner by Orion Originals, Orion Designs, Orion Originals, Aaron Ryan Brooks. You can get this bad boy over on Etsy. It's up for, I think, a pre-order, but although it might actually be shipping relatively soon over on Etsy. And I guess just to get out of the way, $60. You can use the coupon code FREESHIP, FREESHIP. I think all caps and no spaces. I'm not sure how sensitive it is, but free shipping will get you free ship, or free ship will get you free shipping on there. But anyway, yeah, so what I wanted to talk about, attention to detail, is I really like the finished product in this. Now, the last one I looked at from him was the Epiphany, and it was basically a try version of this, and I got a prototype version. And the prototype version was all well and good. There were some design, aesthetic design choices with it that, you know, just kind of the overall shape of this wasn't really my style and didn't appeal to me. But on top of that, just when you're working with a prototype, even good prototypes are usually not quite finished to the level that a finished product will be. And this is I believe this is a finished product, or much closer to a finished product if it's not. And you can also see the little double O there, or just one O with a dot in the middle for Orion. Laser etched on there, kind of nice. And the pictures I've seen of some of these in the finished products, I thought that was like a little screw hole or something, but it's just like a little lasered little thing there. But yeah, so this is finished really well, and for me, having a really well finished product and that attention to detail, something I like a lot more. So I'm going to be even a little more favorable in this review than I was in the last one. So, but we've got basically a polished face here, or a polished body, and then we've got these really nice, like, I'm not really a fan of the bead blasted, but like this extra lip on the outside, the recess of these buttons do tons of grip, and with the really fine bead blasting that's going on here, it actually feels nice in the buttons. The buttons have a lot of grip, and I might honestly like these buttons more with this texture than I do with polished buttons, despite my preference for polished buttons. I think with the logo and the cutouts here, polished buttons might feel a little cheap, despite being, you know, more of a pain in the ass to do. They might actually feel cheap. So but anyway, let's talk about the spinner. That's just kind of a little ranting a little bit early on. Maybe not ranting, tangenting. So yeah, so nice little spinner. So from a design perspective, this one appeals to me a little bit more than the Tri version. I don't know what it is about the shape of this in a bar that I like more than the shape of it in a Tri. But I really do kind of like this aesthetic a lot more. It is called the Shogun, which I think is a bit of a nod to sort of like the Japanese, I guess it's not even the Japanese, it's more of like an Asian temple style pagoda kind of a design, where, you know, you see those, you know, the sides of those roofs kind of curved up. Fun little fact, those roofs are curved up mainly for 2 reasons. I think the main reason is actually it gives a lot of structural integrity. If you take something flat versus something that's curved, there's generally more structure and support to the thing that's curved. So those buildings were actually pretty resistant to, I guess, earthquakes and stuff too, which I don't know if that was just a byproduct. Man, the wind! I wasn't going to say anything about it. I was just going to let it ride because it had been super windy all day, and we got a nice break. I was like, oh, I'm going to be able to record, and it's just, I can tell it's kicking right now. So we'll just spin it for a second while the wind dies down. But anyway, a pagoda, I'll just talk loud too. Maybe I'll talk over and it will drown out the wind noise and make my camera compensate. The pagoda, the other part of the reason it's curved will help funnel rain, I guess, away from the foundation and kind of channel it away. So nice fun things. So anyway, so it's got kind of that style, it's got kind of that look, which is nice. Now in it right now, I don't know what bearings it ships with, and I actually don't know what bearings these are. I tried to get some info from Aaron, I just forgot to ask him about the bearing that's in here, but it's an 8-ball zirconium. Looks a lot like the Harlem Hustler from Heck Ferula, and with how he's involved in a lot of the manufacturers, makers, and I know he was, you know, did have some affiliation with supplying bearings to Damn Designs at one point, even though this again is Aaron Ryan Brooks kind of Orion Designs, Orion Customs, Orion Originals. That might be a Harlem Hustler in there. But yeah, it's a nice little bearing. It's a pretty smooth bearing, not too much feedback. I don't think the one that I have, I really like prepped and cleaned in terms of spin time. I was able to get about 3.5 on this, but if you look at the way the weight is set up, it's really not optimized for spin time. So I'm not really too concerned with that. I'm sure I could get more cleaning this bearing out, and obviously throwing in a bearing like, you know, you saw me review the HC4s the other day, would get more spin time. But again, that's not really what you're into this sort of spinner for. So design-wise and name-wise, I think that's a cool combination of design and name. Really just really nicely done. Fidgetability-wise, I didn't think it would take 6 minutes to get into the fidgetability. Fidgetability on this guy, though, is kind of off the chain. So with all these curves and all these steps, when I was fidgeting with it the other day, I don't know which style I was fidgeting, but I was catching it right here, like every time, and now it doesn't seem to necessarily be the case every time. But I almost always catch it either here or here. I rarely catch it to stop here because it slows down past this finger, or my finger stops it more here or here. So when I'm pulling, yeah, maybe that's what I was doing there. But it pulls really nicely. Because of these steps and because of these corners, you've almost always got a little corner to catch somewhere. So whether you're pulling, whether you're flicking, and my finger's getting better, by the way. It's still a little swollen, although it doesn't really just show up like swollen on camera. You can kind of see it there a little bit. It's got this really red, I don't know what the hell I did to it. It's all bumped up right there, but oh well. But yeah, so I can even I can do some pretty decent pulls, and flicks aren't really a problem with this finger anymore. But yeah, anywhere you catch it, you can pull. And because it's so responsive, especially with a polish, it kind of almost sticks to your fingers a little bit. It's really nice at like a slow fidget. Just kind of that, just gentle little, but it doesn't matter where you catch it. If I catch it here, I can push off. If I catch it here, I can push off. If I catch it here, I can pull. If I catch it here, I can pull, obviously. If I catch it here, I can pull. If I get my finger right in this middle finger groove, I can push off of that, push off of that, push off of that. If I catch it on this side, it's hard to kind of hold it there, but like it'll certainly push off when my finger really wants to gravitate towards that middle and flick off there. So fidgetability wise, it's fantastic. It really works for fidgeting, and just in this polish, just really feels nice. Like this is kind of a pleasure to hold. So again, despite I like the aesthetics of this more than the Epiphany, but it's still aesthetically not like what I would normally gravitate to. Fidgeting wise, I completely kind of forget about that. It's pretty satisfying to slow down on these little bumps as well, because they're all smooth and polished. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it off here, but when you're looking at this, because it's polished here and here and here and here, when you're spinning it in person, again, we're dealing with the frame right here, but you get this really cool reflection that makes it look like it's one flat plane. And I love those kind of tricks, those optical illusions you get with spinners, right? So it looks like it's just one flat piece when you see the light reflecting off of it, the way the light reflects here and then here, like, you know, see how my finger is there? When that's spinning really fast, yeah, we're not really going to be able to pick it up, but it's kind of a cool little thing, which I dig. I like those spin profiles that do fun things, make it fun to look at while it's spinning too. That just adds a little something. But here's something with this spinner and this design that I've never really had with any other spinner. This is actually a pretty enjoyable way to fidget. Although normally I hold it upright, and I'm not at this weird camera angle. Here, let me just not look at the camera. But this is actually, and now I loosen the buttons. But this is actually kind of nice. It's kind of a little fun thing to do. So I dig that. It's just it's a fun little manipulative little gadget. So yeah, I think we've now really hit everything we kind of wanted to say. I'll have the link to Etsy down below to the shop where you can pick these guys up. Again, I'll put the free code in there to use, free ship. make sure to drop that in there, get yourself some free shipping, and help out our man Aaron with this. I think it's just the stainless steel. I don't think there's other options and other materials available. I'm pretty sure that's all I saw on the Etsy. I'll try to look again and update it if it is, but again, I'm pretty sure it's just the stainless steel. But let's go over there, and yeah, if you like this, especially if you got the Epiphany, I think you got to have this. Again, the Epiphany that I had was a prototype, but I really dig this more than the Epiphany. Even despite being into tries a little bit more recently than I have been to bars, you know, I'm kind of I gravitate towards this one more. So, but again, the combination of the buttons, and if we didn't see, I'm pretty sure I showed it off, but I'm not sure which side. But it is like that retention ring, right? So you can just hot swap out the bearings. I know a lot of people dig that. So, yeah, I think that's about all we got to say. Yeah, there it is. The Shogun. Kisses, Internet.